All right, and we're live. Welcome to day 2 of 21 days of powerful breakthrough prayers. Thanks for joining us together today, being with us. I'm here with this guy, Mike Paterson, in Lifeline Studios. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I know you've never been here before, so
the limo was a little
Yeah, I
much.
know.
Thank you.
But we're glad you guys have joined us. We're just going to look through a little bit. Hopefully, if you haven't already read through the devotion for today or looked up the verses and had a chance to process those a little bit, we're asking 2 questions. What does this say about God? What does this say about people? And actually, a third question. Then the bonus question is, so what are you going to do about it? What's the next step? That's what you want to ask every day as you're going through this. So the passage today and the idea of today is all about really don't worry, but pray always. And it's a little take on the Bobby McFerrin, right? Don't worry, pray always. And always think about, it's about putting God first that way. It talks about God as our shepherd. He talks about God as our provider. This picture that God is the God that cares for us. And what else?
Yeah.
What'd you
I just want to lock on to that part where you say, God is our provider. And my wife and I have been self-employed for about 30 years. And we've got a small business, and a lot of you know that. But, there's been times when it's been so lean and so tough that we didn't know where our next paycheck or meal was coming from, honestly. We grew in those times because we prayed a lot, and we put God first, and we depended on his plan for the time that we were going through. Tough time, we've got 4 kids, but God was true and trustworthy. I mean, his word is his bond. And he's come through for us every time. So we're at a point where we don't worry about stuff like that. And God is always leading. And hey, we follow. That's all we do.
And when you've been doing it long enough, you start to realize that, hey, God's got these patterns about who he is. He is faithful. He is secure. He is trustworthy. And I think that's just what this today's kind of takes us back to. Like, make sure you're building that foundation. That's kind of what it took away. My takeaway was like, really build that foundation that God is absolutely secure. He's trustworthy, and he should be our first line of defense, not our last resort kind of a thing. Which is really kind of, I think, the second part of that question is, if that's who God is, then what's our response to that? And I think one of the phrases that was in there was that idea of adopting a mindset of seeking God first. And I think that's an attitude. It's an attitude. I know you guys live this out. You're talking about how you do this with your kids and stuff. You want to try to model this too.
Yeah, one of my favorite scriptures, God plainly says to us, hey, you have not because you ask not. So we've tried to learn. It's not easy because sometimes you just want to try and figure stuff out yourself, But we've kind of put that mindset in everything that we do. So we try to go to God first and find out where he's leading us. And so as parents, we are always asking God to make us the kind of parents that our kids would look up to and want to model. So we're trying to model our best behavior for them. And, it's not easy. As those of you that have kids, you know this, but they're surprising us along the way with the fruit of just being faithful. And as parents, we're just very happy that they're listening and that God is using us in that way. So
it's hard if you got kids. It's just hard in our own lives. And so that's what I think what my encouragement is for myself, and maybe this is something along the lines for you, is a takeaway for what do you do about this is. So I'm going to commit, like, over these 21 days, is I have a terrible habit of checking email or checking Facebook or Instagram or some kind of social thing first thing in the morning. But I think if I'm going to start trying to pulling back in a little bit and disciplining myself to listen to God first, go to him first. Just even in the habit of my everyday, I think that'll translate into when problems come to, is to say, I got a car outside right now, it won't start. So, all right, God, this is your problem. Help me figure this out. So I'll go to him first. So thanks for joining us for day 2. We've got 19 more to do, something like that. And we'll see you tomorrow for day 3. Thanks, Mike, for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a great day, guys.